Home buying process. This is something that I always really try to go over for first-time home buyers, but even for other home buyers that just maybe haven't bought in a while. And it's a good refresher of what the process is like. And some of the processes may have changed a little bit if they had bought a house a long, long time ago. Really, it starts over here. Sometimes people talk to the realtor first. Sometimes they talk to me first. It really doesn't matter. All good realtors are very quickly going to ask you, have you been pre-approved? Well, that's where this comes into play. So we do a mortgage consultation. I'll explain more about how we do it, but we basically get the basics of their income, their assets. We pull their credit report so we can double check their debt ratios and make sure in general it works. And that client is at that point pre-qualified. Now there's pre-qualified, and then there's the stronger level pre-approved. Pre-approved means that we actually have documentation of their income, documentation of their assets, so that I can then issue a letter that says, not only have we talked about it, but I have actually seen evidence that this is the income and the assets. And it allows us to present a much stronger letter to accompany your offer. By the way, in this competitive market we're in, as of May of 2023, most of the time, like all the time, a listing agent knows the difference, and they're going to look for a pre-approval letter. And they'll even call me to validate. I just want to confirm, have you seen their pay stubs, bank statements, and validated that? So that's a very important step. They kind of go hand in hand. But then you're going to be talking more with your realtor. You may be narrowing your field of area you're looking at, geography. What are your must-haves? What are your flexibles on? You want a swimming pool, you don't. You want 4 bedrooms, you don't care, you're okay with 3 bedrooms. Whatever those various must-haves or flexibles are, you'll be talking about that. And eventually you're going to be looking at homes, probably first from a list of homes that are sent to you and emailed to you. But of course, nothing takes the place of actually going and seeing the home itself. You'll eventually make an offer. Now we have to be aware that there may be other people making offers on that very same home. That's very common. So it's important that if you really want the house, you need to make a strong offer. Okay. You may not have a second chance. Okay. Now you might, we never know. Some people think, well, wouldn't they always counter if they they didn't like my offer? No, they don't. They're not required to at all. If they have received 7 offers, 8 offers, very honestly, it would just be far too time consuming to do that. And the seller wants to sell their home. So they're going to sort those not only based on price, but there are other factors as well. And obviously they're going to gravitate to the higher offer price. That's natural, but there are other factors as well. So it is important that when you make an offer, if you know you really want the house, you really want to do as strong of an offer as you can. And by the way, yes, price is super important, but that is not the only factor. And we can talk more about that. We have a whole nother short video about making strong offers that I'm happy to send to you and discuss with you. But eventually, you will land under contract. That means you and a seller have agreed on a price. Now, by the way, that means that's like phase 1 of negotiations. Now, you need to be happy with that, but there is sort of a phase 2 that is very likely going to happen after you get the home inspected. Now, I can't guarantee what will happen, nor can your realtor, but many times there will be a little bit of other negotiations after the inspection is done. Now, if the inspection comes back and gives you a glowing report, the house is in great shape, you may be so excited to buy that house, you're not going to ask for anything different. But if there's a repair or something, your realtor will help you negotiate what to do there. If you ask for it to be fixed, ask for a price reduction, or ask for a seller contribution instead of the seller fixing it. There's a time and place for each of those. By the way, generally we see more seller contribution, and for good reason. It usually gives the control to you for that repair when possible. So when you're under contract, that's when you'll write checks, or a check, I should say, payable to the title company. And it might be a wire, it might be a cashier's check. That covers 2 things: the earnest money, which is traditionally between 1% and 2% of the purchase price, and an option fee, which is a smaller part of it. It does vary much depending on your purchase price, but I would say generally it might be anywhere on the very low end, $250, maybe on the high end, $1,000. Again, it depends on your purchase price. Your realtor will give you a lot more advice on that. As you can imagine, a seller likes to see these numbers as large as possible. It makes the offer look stronger. And by the way, don't really worry too much about that because you get credit for those dollars at closing. So you're basically just fronting some of the money that's going to be in your down payment. Okay. When you go under contract, the seller cannot accept any other offers. They are contractually bound to sell the home to you. They can accept a backup offer, but as long as you buy the home and close on that closing date at the price you've said, they cannot accept any other offers. Okay. You will embark on an option period. It's negotiable as to how long that is. I would say typically it's 3 to 7 days, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. And in some cases, that option period could be extended. We're always here to answer any questions you have, but definitely once you go under contract, we absolutely want to talk. We want to get a copy of that contract. We probably will already have it, but we want to talk. We want to go over that contract, cover the high points, and show you the various loan options available to you at that time, okay? And help you figure out the details of your final financing plan, all right? You'll always have choices. We'll walk through those at that time. We will also then begin these purple steps. These are things we do as the lender. We'll order an appraisal. You'll get a copy of the appraisal. Your agent will get a copy of the appraisal. All we're looking for is for the home to appraise for the purchase price or more. This appraisal is not given to the county. This has no bearing on your property taxes whatsoever. We'll do any final verification of employment or income, assets. Might need to get another pay stub because probably the last one you gave us was maybe a month or two old. That's fine, all normal. We'll get updated bank statements if necessary. Very simple stuff. Your loan will go into underwriting. Don't fear that. Now, I would recommend this is not the time to change jobs or buy a new car if you can keep from it. Don't panic if those things happen. Let's talk. It may be very simple, okay? Your debt ratios may be fine and you could totally buy another car. Or it may be that the new job is even better and it's a great salary and it really doesn't cause a problem at all. It does depend, but let's certainly talk about that. We'll get the final loan approval. Bear in mind, the loan approval is the approval of you and the approval of the property. The property, the home, is the collateral for the loan. Well, what is underwriting wanting to know? They want to make sure that the home appraises for at least what you're paying or more, that it has insurance, that there's no title issues. By the way, you're fully protected. We're not going to do a loan if there's title issues on the home, okay? We will then send closing instructions to the title company. They'll prepare a final closing disclosure. We will be matching that up to the initial estimates that we had when you went under contract. And our goal is to be very, very close. And 99% of the time we are. There are some things when you go under contract we don't know at that time. We don't know exactly your home insurance or maybe exactly what the property taxes are going to be. There's going to be a few variables, okay? That's all right. We'll get all the final numbers, and most likely the final number here will be a little less than the number here. That's our goal, okay? You'll go to a title company. You'll sign a bunch of papers. By the way, I have some clients that buy a home and they live in another state. They don't always have to come to Texas for the closing. Now, many people want to, but sometimes closings can be done remotely. There's a lot of different options we can talk about where they would have a notary come to you. There are some papers that must be physically signed and notarized. These are very important documents, the note, the deed of trust, but we'll walk you through that as you get closer. And on that same day, 99% of the time, the loan funds on the very same day. That means the seller signs on the same day as well, or even a little bit earlier. Very rarely are you and the seller signing in the same room at the same time. That's very unusual. And it becomes your home. The length of time typically from contract to closing does vary, but I would say generally 3 to 5 weeks. Okay. 4 weeks maybe being normal. Sometimes in making a very competitive offer, people will try to close in 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks. And we can certainly do that. And having that good documentation really, really helps there. Okay. That's the home buying process. There are details, of course, I've left out. It's so laborious to tell you all of that, but this is the big picture. This is the stuff you need to know. Let us know of any questions. Have a great day. Bye-bye.